Good morning. No production problems. You can see me. You can hear me. Happy Friday, everyone. We have an action packed show. Two of my favorites are going to be joining the show today. Mr. Connor B, who we'll bring in just a few minutes. Mr. Brady Huck, we're going to talk about 2023. How's it end? Happy December. Let's get into the show. We have a few headlines, a quiet news cycle we're noticing here at Advanced Trading. I am at Advanced Trading Corporate today in Bloomington, Illinois, in case you were wondering where I was. All right, headline number one, we have some sales. Let's bring Connor B into the show, and he's going to tell us what we've noticed going on, this little continued pattern. Our dear friend China back at it again. Connor B.
Absolutely. Good morning, Tommy. Tommy, I've noticed we have a daily sale today. You like that? Uh,
I'm dying.
Sale to China, 4.8 million bushel, 7.2 million bushel to unknown. Another good sale. We're seeing the export window when we're supposed to be shipping. It's doing what it's supposed to. We're having some good sales on. Other things, kicking it over to financial markets. We got the S&P 500, 5% off from the high, Tommy.
I've noticed we're 5% from the high. We could do this all day long. S&P 500. I was listening to a show on the way here. I spent the night in Davenport, Iowa, and I drove to Bloomington. And I listened to someone pretty much tell us on one of the famous shows. And I like everybody's opinion. I mean, I could be totally bulled up in the market, and I will listen to five bears state their case. I think you should. And
Mhm.
actually, that comes from a guy. You're so young. I'll teach you. Paul Tudor Jones said when he's trading well and he's bullish, he calls the five most bearish people he knows, so it keeps him in check. So, in all certainty, when I listen to something on the radio, the internet, shows like this, if someone says something, before you judge, say, why are they saying that? Why are they thinking about it? What do they know I don't know? I may still continue my slant of what I think a market can do, but the worst thing, Connor, and you know this because we work with farmers all day. I think one of the worst things a farmer could do is go to the coffee shop, be bulled up, and sit next to four other people. Could be one of the most expensive cups of coffee you ever have. And with that, the S&P is close to only
He-
5% from all-time highs.
Here's a fun
Or
fact for
is it
you,
yearly
Tommy.
highs or all-time highs?
It'd be all time, I believe.
We'll
But
double check on that. I have to check
and
my math.
here's a fun fact for you. S&P up 5% from the high. The big 7, right? Your Facebook, Apple, Google, don't make me list them all, but you know the names. They equate to like
Microsoft recently
Microsoft,
made
Nvidia,
recent highs. Yeah.
keep going. They equate to almost 95% of that S&P gain. So we need the other 493 stocks to really do some work, and then we'll really see some fireworks.
That's interesting you say that. So what you're talking about is something they talk about on some channels is, yeah, the stock market's not real far from the high. Let's take it the other way. Take out those 7 stocks, and it could be actually having a bad year.
Uh,
We're not
talk
stock advisors, but we all do want to retire someday, and that's why we talk about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, other thing, what we got in natural gas, Tommy?
Natural gas down 21% month to date. I just looked at the monthly changes on commodities. Something I was a little shocked about. Natural gas down 21%. Why is that? In my opinion, it's abnormally warm. Again, I just drove down here. It is pouring rain. We are December 1st. That could have just as well been snow. When we look at our good friends up north, if you look at a map, which I didn't have loaded, but if you look at a map and a weather map, extended forecast, abnormally warm in Canada, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, et cetera, et cetera. Big warmth, red dome above in what I would call the cold states. Natural gas down 21%. Commodities are still moving. Interesting side note, with some of the commodities that I thought had a bad month weren't quite down as much as I had thought, and we'll get into that a little bit more with Brady Huck. Do we have any other news here? A little interesting tidbit from Dr. Larry was telling me something. If I told you that harvest has already started in South America, would you believe me?
Absolutely not. We're talking about planning, Tommy.
Yeah, so I walked over to Dr. Larry. He's they call him. I said, "Hey, you're a doctor. They call you a doctor for a reason. Give me something smart to say." He said, "Harvest is starting in South America." I said, "How could that be?" He said, "Remember when that ag minister came out and allowed them to go early? They were having a problem, a weather problem, and I guess they say like, ready, start, go down there. You can plant today." And they let him. I say, I do remember that. I do remember talking about that about 90, 100 days ago. A tiny bit of harvest already starting in South America. With that, I believe soybeans are down today. So it's a world market, folks. It's not just about America. Folks storing soybeans and whatnot. Something to think about. Real quick, the show 2023 bearish, bullish. How are we going to end this year? Uh, what do you think about soybeans? What would you do different for your clients? What do you think clients should do different for soybeans in 2024 versus 2023?
Well, 2023, right? It was definitely the year. Should we have planted more soybeans, right? That's the question. That's our hindsight marketing question. Should we have planted more? Should we have bin space dedicated to soybeans going forward, right? The past month has shown uh, great numbers on soybeans. We crossed that mythical $14 level. So going forward, as we're making those decisions again, right? Central Illinois, we're having the discussion. I don't know what you're hearing from your guys in the Dakotas if they have big acreage shifts, but right now, the pencil pushes to soybeans a little bit, Tommy. So if we're making that plan today, or even having the, thinking about making it, right? Let's start looking at what hedge levels we could be, right? We're sitting at right around 12.80. I haven't seen what the market is right now. A little bit below $13 for Nov 24. And so if we're looking at flipping acres, if we're looking at what we're going to plant, what the profitability is, let's also start talking about what can we hedge, what can we lock in today.
I'll get you a Nov 24 price here.
Hit me.
Yes, sir. Nov 24. Let me look through my bifocals. You're going to be a little disappointed. 1285 and a half. Nov 24 soybeans down
12.85.
8 cents. Let's keep talking about that. Nov 24 versus D's 24, and we'll do a couple breakouts on that real quick. When I think about corn and corn marketing for 2023, I think 2023 was the year that we got back to reality. It
Mhm.
didn't end for many as they had hoped. Some people were cheated a bushel. Some people quietly were blessed with a lot more bushels than they ever anticipated. The bushels didn't show up in, I say the I states, but Indiana, I think, did have a record yield. But the state of Iowa, well, when I think of an I state that it at the border trade, it would be this is 25-year ago, Tommy, at the border trade. Whatever the weather was in Iowa, there goes the corn market. That's changed a little, Connor.
Yep.
And if you talk to people in the seed business, fertilizer business, we're planting corn and beans all over America, a lot more into Canada, in other countries, and the world markets have changed. So wrapping up bull or bear 2023, 24, it'd be so easy to come on a show like this, go live and say, I'm getting bullish corn. Really? We just broke $1.50. Is that a hard thing to do? The easiest thing for an analyst to do is watch a market tank, have nobody sold, have nobody forward protected, and then tell them you're getting bullish. The fact people still get paid to say that is amazing. And you'll probably hear me say it in a few days on a show because as the markets go down, you sometimes don't know what to say to people. So you say, these are good levels, and they are good levels. When you look at where Japan and China could purchase corn around the world, America's very competitive. Well, should we be? I'm scared to bring in 3 at once, so I think we're gonna pop you out. Do you have anything else to add before we, pop you out and bring in Mr. Brady Huck?
Nope. Brady and I had a nice talk about some corn hedging, so I think he'll reiterate and bring on some good points. So with that, bring him on, Tommy.
I think producer Joe's clicking the buttons. Look at that. He's going,
Good morning, Tommy.
good morning, Mr. Huck. You are our resident cattle expert, and I noticed that cattle didn't have a great month last month, but they weren't down as, much as one would thought. For the sake of time and everything else, when you think of 2023, let's just get into the questions here. When you think of 2023 with cattle, feeder cattle, hogs, and other things you help people, you do corn hedging and bean hedging. How would you, in your young career, look at 2023 bull bear debate?
From a cattle guy, I mean, and a cow calf guy opportunity, 2023 has been a really good year. It's been a terrible month, Tommy. But down six. What are we down? I can't remember Drew's stat from feeder cattle, but down 8, 10, 12% on feeders. But you look back over the last year, and we're up 25% versus a year ago. Still after this pullback, so I I think there's definitely some bright days to come for the cow calf guy and the cattleman. But it's been a rough couple months as these markets have been hit.
As far as moisture, because a lot of the marketing you do help people do in Kansas, you can be bullish, bearish, but if you don't have moisture, you
Yeah.
don't have a crop. How you set up for moisture next year?
Yeah, good point. A year ago it was really, really, really dry out here, and we had a great April, May, June. Not everybody got it though. Out here in western Kansas and the Western Plains, there's definitely some pockets that missed it last year, and I feel for those guys because the drought hasn't stopped for them. But there was many that were fortunate to get some moisture, and and build some profile and have some grass, raise a crop. And it's always fun to farm when you're raising a crop, raise cattle when you have moisture and grass. It's never fun when it's when you're fighting headwinds against Mother Nature.
Absolutely. We said we are going to go short on the show. We went long, and that's because I love visiting with you guys, and I think farmers love watching. Real quick before we go, Brady, tell people a little bit about ATI Pro Media here.
You
Where can
bet.
they watch us? Where could they listen to your soft, soothing voice?
You bet. Yeah, we're live every day at 9 here. We love for you to join us. We'd love for you to come ask us questions. Want to answer some questions live. Can't wait to do that. Think you were going to give out a flag, but I don't see any questions yet. So the
No
flag's
flag
still up for
you.
grabs.
No flag for you, like the
Yep.
Seinfeld episode.
Yeah. You can catch us on a podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. But we're here every day live at 9, and look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, I'll see you on Monday. Real quick before we go, Dave Lechtenberg yesterday did a great breakout on what it actually means to go through the delivery period. If you want that, producer Joe's going to pop up how to get a hold of us. Call us at ATI Pro Media 1-855-737-FARM. Email us if you want Dave Lechtenberg's special breakout. We'll get that to you. We're going to end the show with my beautiful bride, Gina G. Everyone have a great weekend.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.